This is going to be a short video of why I sand with the lathe running backwards. I've been asked that many times. Well, fortunately most new lathes will run forward and backwards. I do want to mention that if your lathe only goes forward, that does not mean you cannot get a good sanding job. Because the last lathe I had before this, I upgraded from a different lathe, and I thought that I could make it run in reverse because I've done that a number of times. But it all has to do with whether the motor is a capacitor start or not. So what I didn't like about that lathe mostly was I couldn't run it in reverse. So I upgraded to this one. I'm really happy with it. Now, there's one thing you need to do when you are running your spindle in reverse. I'm going to move you over and show you that, and then we'll get going on the rest of the video. So what I wanted to point out on the chuck is there's a set screw here that will tighten down against your spindle, and it will keep it from unthreading off those right hand threads. So that's very important to have that set screw in there when you're running the lathe in reverse. So let's get going on the video, and I'll show you why I like sanding in reverse. One of the reasons, when you're cutting this way, even though you have a really smooth cut, you've lifted the fibers a little bit. So let me get the tool rest out of the way. So if the fibers are slightly lifted, if you sand the same direction, you're sanding with the way they're lifted. If you sand this way, you're sanding against them, and they come off a little bit easier. I feel I get a smoother sanding job doing that. And you can sand both ways, but I think initially I like to sand this way, and it just takes them off a lot quicker. Even though you really can't feel them, they are there. So the other reason is dust collection. I keep my inlet right there behind it, and I can move it back and forth, but generally that's about where it needs to be. If I sand forward with it on, I didn't really see any dust going in there when I did that. It just sort of moved around. I'll sand it in reverse now. The lathe's going that way. And so is the dust. Just to show you that it's actually going over there and how much it's collecting, we'll do this without the dust collector going. You can see how much is built up in there. So I think it really helps with dust collection. I'll sand this going forward, and we'll see how much settles on there. And it will be very little. Same amount of dust was created, but it didn't make it there. It went all around me. If you don't have a dust collector, that doesn't mean that you still can't benefit from it, because you could put a little fan over here, and again, watch what settles. So we had the dust settle in there again. If you just had a fan here, it's still confined the dust into one area, and you can get it away from you easier. Those are the reasons that I sand in reverse. And I don't say that everyone has to do it that way, but I've been asked so many times, I thought I would explain my reasoning behind it. So I hope that was of a little bit of use for everybody. Please like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next time, see you later.